Hello, it is I. Now when the Crew Motorfest teaser trailer came out, I was actually very excited. I mean, all I wanted to do was get my hands on the game, race my heart out and cruise through Oahu in these incredible cars. And thanks to the legends over at Ubisoft, I was given a quick 30-minute demo to try out the game, give feedback and make content on what the game was actually like. And that is why I'm here with this video. It's about 10 things I noticed when trying out the Crew Motorfest. Anyways, 4,000 likes is the target for today's video. Also, let me know if you want me to make videos on this game when it comes out and I will provide you with some tasty content. Anyways, without further ado, let's get to this video. Now, something that the Crew games are really good at doing is getting licenses for certain cars which other games do not have. And I'm not talking about some weird cars from the manufacturer that nobody's ever heard of. I'm talking about cars like the Koenigsegg Gemera, or the Gemera, or the Hemera, I don't know how you pronounce it. Also cars like the Bentley Baccarat, a car that only Bentley have made 12 of in the whole world, which is so rare. We also have the Bugatti Centodieci, one of 10 in the whole world. And even one of one cars are the Bugatti Le Voiture Noire and the Lamborghini Agosta. Honestly, how do they get licenses for all these cars? It's so impressive. And also the Crew Motorfest also has an exclusive car which only they have at the moment. And that is the Lamborghini Revuelto. Yep, that's the successor for the Aventador and only the Crew Motorfest has that in their games. Oh, and also, is that a Supra? Yes, it is. We finally have the Supra in the Crew. And this is surprising because we've never seen the Supra in the Crew. We haven't seen the Mark IV, the Mark III, the Mark V. They've never been seen in the Crew, but we're finally getting it in Motorfest. So yeah, that's good news for all you JDM fans out there. And also look at the customization on the car as well. It is insane. Now, I don't know if it's licensed customization, but just look at it. Even if it's not licensed, it looks so good. Also, we are getting this new Formula 1 concept car with flaps on the back, kind of like the Pagani Huayra. And yeah, driving that, it was insane. The car gripped so well, it sounds insane. And I am really looking forward to racing cars like that in the Crew Motorfest. One of the biggest complaints about the Crew 1 and the Crew 2 were the physics. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it, it was terrible. As if you drove a drift version of a car, then the car ended up being way too slidey and you couldn't really drive around in it normally. Also, the cars didn't feel very engaging. They genuinely felt like you were driving plastic toys that were so weird to drive. And also, if you jumped your car, then the car just goes straight down again, like the gravity's multiplied. It's so weird, the physics in the old games. Honestly, it was so bad that it actually threw off people from actually playing the game, which is like a big problem. And from the looks of things, the Motorfest have actually updated the physics, as drifting seems to have a lot more control. Like, there's no random drifting out of nowhere. If you want to initiate a drift, then you can initiate the drift and you can hold the drift, and it just makes drifting a lot more easier than it was in the older games. Also, the cars do feel a lot more engaging. They feel like they have a lot more weight to them, and I genuinely do feel like cars. They don't feel like you're driving toys, and yeah, I love the fact that they actually updated this. Now, unfortunately, the cars do still drop to the ground quickly if you are taking a jump. Like, it's like you're driving on Jupiter, like the gravity is insane. But this is still work in progress. It's an unfinished version of the game, so you're not going to expect everything to be perfect. But yeah, man, other than that, I am happy with how the physics have turned out in this new game. So yeah, man, big up Ubisoft and Ivory Tower for fixing this, because this has been a big problem. Unfortunately, I couldn't do any free roaming in the demo, so I don't know how the map actually looks like. I didn't even open up the map. But judging from the race locations, the map does seem pretty decent in this game. In fact, it's actually really good. I mean, I drove on some very nice coastal roads on my AC Cobra. It was very relaxing to drive through. I also drove on a highway network in this game in my Lamborghini Revuelto, and the views from the highway were insane. It was sort of high up, so you get an incredible view down of like the whole of Oahu. And yeah, man, I cannot wait to cruise on this map because it's such a look at it, it's so good. I also drove through the dense modern city in my Toyota Supra. I also drove in the night as well, so the streets were lit up in these neon lights and everything, and it looked so good. I also drove on some racetracks in Formula cars. Yep, there are racetracks in this game, which is really cool. I also discovered the off-roading aspect in this game. As you can see in the background footage of me driving my Ford Bronco, the off-road is pretty good in this game. And also there were some Japan-inspired mountain roads which was so fun to drive through. It felt like I was doing a tow game run. It was so cool. And yeah, man, the map does seem like it has a bit of everything in it. I mean, there are coastal roads, stunning views, a highway, a modern city, racetracks, off-roading, and like mountain roads. It's gonna be so nice to drive through here in the full game. I cannot wait for it. Okay, now I'm not sure if the map is at a 1-to-1 scale, just like in TDU1's Oahu Island, but I can assure you that the map is definitely more polished than TDU1, so yeah, this map does look very exciting. And yeah, man, I cannot wait to drive through here in the full game. It's gonna be so good. Now, one of the first first things I did in the crew Motorfest is go into the cockpit camera angle to see if the steering angle was updated, because you know, the crew's interior camera angle has only had 180 degrees of steering wheel rotation, and I was met with disappointment to find out that the crew Motorfest also had 180 degrees of rotation. Yep, this made me very sad. However, when I later raced in my Supra through the cities with tight bends, I looked at the steering wheel angle and it actually turned over 180 degrees, which was fantastic. And to get footage of that, I decided to drift in the cockpit camera angle, and the steering wheel movement was not amazing. Like, the hands didn't really sync up with the steering wheel. I feel like Driver San Francisco has a better like animation than the crew Motorfest, and hey, I'm not complaining because the crew has finally updated the steering wheel angle. It is so good to see, and it makes me very happy because small details like this make a huge difference. So big up Ivory Tower, big up Ubisoft, because you guys are legends and I like this very much. One new feature in the crew Motorfest which I'm a big fan of is the rewind, because in my opinion it's a necessity in every single arcade racing game. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the greatest at racing games. I mean, I enjoy racing games, so I'm not very competitive. So yeah man, in this footage I did need to rewind quite a lot because I was not used to driving with these new physics. Oh, and also, unlike Forza where their rewind system is sort of like randomly rewinds to a random part and then you have to like start from there again, in the crew Motorfest you can choose when you finish the rewind. So you can choose whether you want it like 1 second before, or like 2 seconds before, or like 5 seconds before. You could choose when you want it. So yeah man, I'm really happy that they finally have rewind in the crew Motorfest, because for people who are not very good at racing, this is a very good feature. Many racing game fans pay attention to the car sounds because racing game fans are car guys and car girls like car sounds. And if you're one of these people, then don't worry, the crew Motorfest will not disappoint you because the sounds in this game are fantastic. As the racing cars in this game sound super focused. Cars like the Honda NSX with a V6 engine sound so godly. Classic V8 muscle cars like this AC Cobra sounds so old school. The 2JZ in the Supra sounds amazing. And the V12 in the Lamborghini Revolto has that iconic screaming sound. Oh yeah, and the Bronco sounds pretty good as well. Okay, now I didn't notice any crazy backfire sounds like the ones you got in the crew 2 where it kind of goes like BAM and then like you see like the fire come out, like that sounds insane. But I did notice that the backfire does look better in the crew Motorfest than it looks in the crew 2, because in the crew 2 it looked very arcadey, but in the crew Motorfest it does still look arcadey, but it looks a lot more realistic. Oh, and also the turbo flutter sounds in this game were insane. I never used to like notice the turbo sounds in the crew 2 or the crew 1, but in Motorfest, oh my god, listen to it. Oh, it sounds so good. So yeah man, if you're a fan of car sounds, then you're gonna love the crew Motorfest. Now in most racing games, the head-up display always remains the same. I mean, the only game where it really changes is TDU, where if you're driving a Ferrari, then it has a Ferrari speedometer. If you're driving a Audi, then it has an Audi speedometer. Like, you know, it changes with the car. And I noticed that in the crew Motorfest there is a similar system, but it doesn't change with the car, it changes with the era. For example, look at the speedometer when I'm driving a modern car. It looks very modern and yeah, it's just a modern speedometer. But as soon as I switch to an AC Cobra, a classic American muscle car, the head-up display looks a lot more old school and the speedometer just, I don't know, it just looks very old school. It looks so cool. And yeah man, tiny details like this really show the car's age, and it just makes the game feel a little bit more detailed and realistic. Okay, now bear in mind this is an unfinished demo, so there may be more speedometer variations on different cars, like maybe we have a racing head-up display on racing cars. But yeah man, at the moment I am a big fan of the head-up display. It looks really cool. Now many racing games struggle with the dialogue and like making the characters likable. For example, Forza Horizon games always feel a little bit childish and cringy, like they're tailoring towards a younger audience. And in Need for Speed the characters are really cool, but they aren't very suitable for a young audience. It feels like a teenager's game, like children can't really play it. But in my opinion, the crew Motorfest is like a perfect blend of the two, as the characters have a little bit of animosity, like they like sort of say stuff to agitate each other to like make the racing more intense, but there's also a sense of like unity and love between the characters as well, like they're really like close to each other. And yeah man, it genuinely feels like it's a good friendship, like there's a bit of animosity and there's a bit of love. It's like the perfect blend of the two. It's very nice. And what I find really cool is the fact that when you're racing, they actually talk about the cars whilst they're racing. Like they talk about like, oh, do you know what NSX stands for?
By the way, do you know what NSX stands for?
New Sports Car Experimental.
I just find that so cool, just like they're having a conversation whilst they're racing. It's so fun. Now, I personally do love dialogue when they're racing because it adds a lot of character. I know some people may find it a little bit annoying. They'll be like, oh, shut up, I just want to race. But I love the atmosphere and character added to the game because it makes boring races so much more exciting. But yeah, man, I am really big fan of the dialogue and the characters in this game because they seem more likable and they seem interesting and they add character and it's all just very, very good. Now in the Crew 1, the cars had randomized plates, but they were customizable. There were like different skins for each state, but the text on the license plate was all just randomized. You couldn't select what you want written on your plate. Then the Crew 2 did not have randomized plates. They didn't have even states either. They just had a simple plate that had the Crew 2 written on it, which is a little bit boring. And unfortunately in the Crew Motorfest, it has the same system as the Crew 2, except it doesn't have the Crew 2 written on it. It has Motorfest written on it, which is a little bit weird. Now lots of people were really hoping that we had customizable plates in the Crew Motorfest, and I do hope so as well. I'm really hoping this plate is just like a placeholder so that in the full game they can actually like introduce personalized plates, because customizable plates adds a little bit of personalization just like you get in games like Forza Horizon games. So yeah man, fingers crossed the license plates in the full game are fully customizable. You can choose the state, you can choose what's written on the plate, because that would be a very nice addition, because let's be honest, having the Motorfest written on the back of your plate is a little bit boring. Now, if you know me, you know that I love good sense of speed in racing games because it immerses you into the game, it makes you feel like you're actually driving the car, and it makes the racing so much more exciting. And I'm pleased to announce that the Crew Motorfest actually has pretty good sense of speed. I mean, from the exterior, you don't really notice the sense of speed. I mean, it's good, but it's not amazing. But from the interior, yeah, oh my days, the sense of speed is mad. As the G-force movement when you're racing is insane, it actually feels like you're driving the car. When you hit nitrous, it really pushes you back into your seat and you can actually like feel the nitrous pushing your car faster. It's so cool. Also when you crash and the camera really shakes and it genuinely feels like you just got into a car crash. And the fact that the steering wheel angle is updated really makes the cockpit camera angle feel more chaotic, like a lot more is going on. And that adds to the sense of speed so much. It genuinely feels like you're driving your car so fast. And honestly, the movement from the interior camera angle genuinely feels very similar to Drive Club in a way. So yeah man, the sense of speed in the Crew Motorfest is so good. Now if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to watch this video up here, so make sure to give that a watch right now and I'll be very happy. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then press the button right over here and you'll be guided to my channel where you can subscribe. Anyways, have a good one guys. Cheers.